Another area we're constantly looking to improve is our already world-class park system. You know, unfortunately, there are areas of the city that are underserved. The bench in particular developed at a time when we didn't have a comprehensive park plan. And it's really difficult to retrofit an existing neighborhood, a built-out neighborhood with a park. But thanks to the generosity of the Day family, they donated a 7-acre site at the corner of Kootenai and Federal Way. It is a beautiful site that looks to the foothills and looks over all our city and the campus at Boise State. And you know, we weren't sure how we could really develop Terry Day Park, but I'm proposing that we do it this year, that we green up the park, because the young people and families in that neighborhood, they can't wait for a park to come. They have to go to some distant park. We're going to do it this year, but none of that would have been possible without the generosity of Pat Day. Pat is here this morning. I know he wouldn't like me to, but if he'd stand up and be recognized, his generosity made this happen. Pat. But we can't only depend on generosity. We have to look for opportunities to reshape a neighborhood in a positive way. You know, the school bond we passed a few years ago, it's just been great to us. We have new schools, and in those schools we have 3 new rec centers that the city operates in conjunction with the school district. Our existing schools have been renovated in a way more beautiful than I ever imagined. But there's one instance, the old Franklin School site at Franklin and Orchard Street, where the loss of the school has really left a void in that neighborhood. That's why we've begun discussions with the school district for the city of Boise to purchase a portion of that site and to set that aside for a park so that that neighborhood can enjoy that amenity. We've got a little ways to go, but we're committed to make that project happen. Again, it's something that can't wait, so stay tuned. Finally, I have another project to talk about this morning, and I'm really excited about it because it builds on some successes that we've already had. We've talked about the River Recreation Park, both here and over the last 3 years, but that's really just one part of many projects that are going on in that same area in the west part of downtown Boise. We have, John Evans and I just dedicated the 36th Street Bridge, a pedestrian bridge across the Boise River that connects Garden City and Boise in a wonderful way. It's a beautiful project, and it's fully completed. ACHD will begin this coming year the 30th Street extension, which is a wonderful thoroughfare that will connect State Street with Fairview Avenue. And that thoroughfare will run right by what's the Esther Simplot Park, what will be the Esther Simplot Park someday. You know, in 2003, the Simplot family donated $1 million to the city of Boise, the final piece in securing 55 acres located right along the river. Well, I'm happy to report this morning that the Simplot family has given the okay to do a final master plan of the park and to build the park over the next couple years. And importantly to us, in this next winter, as we're building the River Recreation Park, they've committed to build connecting streets, a parking lot, and restrooms to be built in conjunction with the River Recreation Park so that facility can be fully enjoyed. The Esther Simplot Park will represent one of the biggest donations ever to the Boise Park system. It's not just a wonderful amenity, it's a catalyst for that whole area, along with the other projects that I mentioned, for that area to just bust open. It's a part of downtown that needs that kind of help. Join me in recognizing the generosity of the Simplot family. What these projects show us is we have to have faith. Act as if you have faith, and faith will be given you. That's an expression that's been one of my favorites over a number of years. But I went after the origin of that phrase. I was sure it had to be either the sisters at St. Joe's or certainly St. Paul. But after looking literally for hours, I find it was actually St. Paul Newman, the actor. When he uttered that phrase at a critical point in one of his movies. And so too are we at such a critical point. You know, cities can directly affect many aspects of civic life. Public safety, orderly development, a clean and beautiful environment, and amenities that businesses, to attract those businesses, and where families want to raise their children. If we focus on those areas that we can directly affect, we'll create the context for success. And we have to have faith that that success will indeed come. This past winter, the Jump and Whole Foods projects, they experienced some difficulties in the approval process. And I know some of you thought that we might lose those projects. But I had faith not just in the process, but faith in the people on all sides of that project, that we'd come out the other end with better projects. And so we do. 2 approved projects that are ready for construction. Faith that if our police department worked with neighborhoods, that our low crime would get even lower. And for 6 years in a row, crime has dropped year over year. And in some categories, it's dropped lower to the lowest point since we began keeping data. Faith that the development pattern that this city encouraged would be sustainable over time, and the economy has proven that. Faith, like many of you, that when the citizens of Boise stepped forward 10 years ago to tax themselves to purchase Foothills open space, that activity, faith that would lead to great places for our children and for their children, and so it has. Faith that we'll have the resources to build a first-rate transportation system. And even if we have to take that upon ourselves and get the issue on the ballot directly. And faith in the Simplot and Whitewater parks. I'm really talking about faith in ourselves, faith in our abilities, faith in our collective wisdom, faith in our city. I'm asking you to continue to have faith in yourselves, to have faith in us, to have faith in Boise. Faith that our best days are ahead of us. And I'm more grateful than I can ever say that you've had enough faith in me to make me your mayor. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Here's to even greater successes in the coming year. And thank you for your time in being here. We are there. Came in on time, too.
Perfect.
That's so far, man.